Europe's Ukraine narrative takes a direct hit from Washington. The US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says Europe's moral messaging does not match its market behavior. While EU leaders speak of sacrifice and solidarity, their trade flows tell a very different story, one that keeps the war economy quietly alive.
I find the Europeans very disappointing because the Europeans are on the front line of the Ukraine-Russia war. The Europeans, India started buying sanctioned Russian oil, and guess who was buying the refined products? The Europeans.
The allegation is blunt. Russian oil, restricted by sanctions, flows to India. That crude is refined. And the buyers of those refined products? European states themselves. The result, according to Washington, is Europe indirectly financing the very conflict it claims it wants to end.
So the Europeans have been funding the war against themselves and something that you couldn't have made up. The US sanctioned or put a 25% tariff on India for buying the Russian oil. The Europeans were unwilling to join us, and it turns out because they wanted to do this trade deal.
The contradiction is stark. Public speeches emphasize values, principles, and the Ukrainian people. Private trade decisions prioritize energy security and commercial continuity. The US Treasury says European trade interests repeatedly outweigh the urgency of stopping the war.
So every time you hear a European talk about the importance of the Ukrainian people, remember that they put trade ahead of the Ukrainian people. Trade, European trade, more important than ending the war in Ukraine.
This is not a sanctions loophole on paper. It is a reality of global supply chains. Europe may have cut direct Russian energy imports, but indirect dependence persists, routed through third countries, refined elsewhere, and re-imported under a different label.
At a price, they want cheap energy. We could have cheaper energy too if we were willing to buy sanctioned Russian oil.
The US message is clear. Credibility matters. As long as trade convenience overrides political commitment, calls for unity ring hollow. Ending the Ukraine war, Washington suggests, requires more than speeches. It demands alignment between what Europe says and what Europe buys.